Just imagine. A time so ancient that it seems almost magical, where heaven and earth were so close that angels could come down to walk among us. A time when the impossible was possible and the unknown blended with our reality. And that's exactly the moment we're going to talk about today. Imagine celestial beings, powerful angels, descending from the heavens not only to observe, but to interact directly with humans. They brought with them knowledge that should never have been shared, secrets from heaven that would change the fate of humanity forever. Among these angels, there was a leader, a being who made a bold and dangerous decision, Samyaza. He led a rebellion, a choice that would lead him to disobey divine laws and unite with the daughters of men in a forbidden union. But what led Samyaza and the other angels to make such a risky decision? What did they see in humanity that made them abandon their heavenly posts and descend to earth? And, more importantly, what were the consequences of this daring act? What did this choice bring for the world and for Samyaza himself? Get ready, because what you're about to discover will stir your imagination, make you question the boundaries between the divine and the human, and perhaps even the origin of some of the most mysterious and dark legends we know. So, if you're curious, if you feel you need to understand what really happened in this ancient and powerful story, stay with me. You won't want to miss what comes next. Let's deepen our understanding of Samyaza, a figure shrouded in mystery, rebellion, and forbidden desire, whose actions echo to this day as a warning about the consequences of giving in to temptation. Samyaza, according to the Book of Enoch, is described as the leader of the Grigori, also known as the Watchers. These angels were sent to earth with a specific mission: to watch over humanity, protect it, and ensure that the balance between the heavenly and the earthly was maintained. They were, in a way, the invisible guardians of the world, powerful beings who kept a constant watch on the actions of men. But as the Watchers continued their observation, something began to change. Samyaza, who was initially a faithful leader and dedicated to his mission, began to notice something he perhaps shouldn't have. The human women, with their beauty, grace, and mystery, captured his attention in a way that no angel should allow. It was as if something deep and irresistible was pulling Samyaza and his companions down a path that they knew was forbidden. What exactly did he feel when he observed these women? Was it a fascination, a desire, or something deeper, like a burning curiosity about the life human beings led? The fact is that this attraction became an obsession, something he could no longer ignore. And Samyaza, being the leader of the Watchers, knew that what was to come could change the fate not only of him, but of all the angels who followed him. Over time, this temptation grew inside him, fueled by every glance he cast at humanity. He began to ask himself, what if? What if he crossed that line? What if he, and the other Watchers, descended from the heavens and interacted directly with these women? This thought, initially just a whisper in his mind, became a deafening scream that he could no longer ignore. And that's how Samyaza made the decision that would change everything. He rebelled against divine orders, against the sacred mission to which he and the other Watchers had been sent. He approached his companions and convinced them to follow him on this forbidden journey. Many hesitated, knowing the consequences that could come from such an act, but Samyaza's charisma and determination were undeniable. One by one, they began to agree, until they were all united in a pact of disobedience. This pact was not made lightly. Samyaza knew that once they crossed this line, there would be no turning back. They would no longer be just observers, but active participants in earthly life, breaking down the barrier between the heavenly and the mundane. They were about to alter the course of human history in ways they couldn't even imagine. And so, Samyaza and the other Watchers descended to earth, leaving their heavenly duties behind. They took human women for themselves, teaching them knowledge that was reserved only for the heavens. This act, this forbidden union, gave rise to the Nephilim, gigantic and powerful beings who were neither fully human nor fully angelic. But this story, fascinating as it is, doesn't end there. The consequences of Samyaza's actions were vast and terrible. The earth, once a place of order and balance, was plunged into chaos. The Nephilim, with their unconscionable strength, brought destruction and imbalance. And the Watchers, once the guardians of humanity, were now seen as traitors, beings who had corrupted the world they were supposed to protect. And what happened to Samyaza? He, who was the instigator of it all, became the symbol of what happens when desire and temptation overcome duty and order. His story is a grim reminder that even the most powerful beings, those who should be incorruptible, can fall when faced with the temptations of the world. But this story is far from just a lesson from the past. The questions it raises still resonate with us. How far would someone go to satisfy their deepest desires? What are the consequences of crossing a line that shouldn't be crossed? And above all, how can we, in our daily lives, avoid the mistakes that beings like Samyaza have made? Imagine the tension in Samyaza's heart at that crucial moment. He was aware that the decision he was about to make would change not only his existence, but the course of all humanity. Going down to earth, interacting directly with humans, was a line that should not be crossed. He knew it. Every fiber of his celestial being was aware of the devastating consequences that could come from such an act. However, something more powerful than logic and duty drove him, a deep desire, an irresistible temptation. Samyaza was a leader among the Watchers, angels charged with observing and protecting humanity. However, his mission as an observer turned into something darker. Observing the beauty of human women, Samyaza began to question the divine rules. Why should beings like him refrain from experiencing what humans experienced? Why should these desires, if aroused, be repressed? These questions began to eat away at Samyaza's resolve, fueling a silent rebellion within him. But Samyaza was not alone in his thoughts. He knew that to do what he planned, he would need the support of others. It was a colossal decision, and he couldn't risk backing down when the time came. It was then that he decided to gather the other Watchers, 200 powerful angels who shared the same mission. In a secret place, far from the eyes and ears of heaven, Samyaza revealed his plan. He spoke with passion, with a conviction that swayed even the most hesitant. "I know that many of you have felt the same way," he began. "I know that you, like me, have wondered about the limitations that have been imposed on us. We were sent here to observe, but that's not our true nature. Why should we stand on the sidelines, watching from afar, while humans experience the most precious things in life? Why can't we also feel, touch, live?" Samyaza's words resounded among the angels like thunder. There was a tense silence as each of them processed what was being suggested. Descending to earth, joining human women, was unthinkable. It was a direct violation of divine law. However, Samyaza's words touched something deep inside each of them, a desire, a curiosity, an impulse that until now they had tried to suppress. "But we won't do this lightly," Samyaza continued, observing his companion's expressions. "If we decide to follow this path, we must all be committed. We must make a pact, a sacred oath, that no matter what happens, none of us will turn back. We will do it together, and we will face the consequences together." The angels looked at each other, the magnitude of the decision clear in their eyes. They knew there was no turning back. They knew that by coming down to earth and taking human women for themselves, they would be in direct defiance of God himself. But the desire, the fascination with that forbidden act, was irresistible. And so, one by one, they agreed. Samyaza, seeing that his companions were ready, declared the pact. It was a solemn oath, pronounced in a celestial language, full of power and gravity. Every angel present promised that no matter what the consequences, no matter what came next, they would not turn back. They were committed to the plan, they were committed to each other. With the pact sealed, the decision was made. Samyaza would lead the angels on their descent to earth. They would share heavenly secrets with the human women, teach them the knowledge that was reserved only for divine beings. But this exchange of wisdom would not come without a cost. The price would be high, and the angels knew it. However, temptation, the desire to experience life in a way they had never done before, was stronger than any fear of divine judgment. And so, the fallen angels prepared to descend. There was no more hesitation, no more doubt. They were committed to their destiny, a destiny that was about to change the world forever. What would follow would be a forbidden union, an alliance between the heavenly and the earthly that would bring unimaginable consequences for both angels and humans. But what really drove Samyaza and his companions to make this decision? Was it simply desire, curiosity, or was there something deeper, something we still don't fully understand? What were they willing to sacrifice to satisfy their cravings? And above all, what would be the true price of such rebellion? These questions are just the beginning. The story of Samyaza and the fallen angels is a powerful reminder that, however lofty, even heavenly beings are subject to temptation and the consequences of their choices. And now, as we explore the events that unfolded from that decision, get ready to dive into a narrative where the sacred and the profane meet, where desire and rebellion go hand in hand, and where the lines between good and evil become dangerously blurred. Imagine the moment when Samyaza and the other fallen angels finally touched earth, crossing the line between the divine and the human. It wasn't just an act of rebellion, it was a merging of worlds, a breaking down of the barriers between heaven and earth. They united with human women, an act that went against all divine laws. But this union did not simply produce ordinary children. From this extraordinary mixture of heavenly and earthly essences, the Nephilim were born. These beings, half angel, half human, were unlike anything the world had ever seen. Giants in stature and power, the Nephilim were imposing and formidable, creatures that inspired both awe and terror. Imagine creatures with the superhuman strength of angels and the cunning and will of humans, walking freely among mortals. They weren't just children of a forbidden union, they were a direct challenge to the established order, beings who embodied heavenly disobedience. The Nephilim quickly became legendary figures, their stories passing down from generation to generation. In every corner of the earth, whispers about these giants echoed. Were they the heroes who would shape history, or the destructive forces that would bring chaos? Their celestial origins and overwhelming presence provoked both fear and fascination, and wherever they went, they left an indelible mark on the human world. The birth of the Nephilim was more than a mythical event, it was the beginning of an era of uncertainty and mystery. Beings who blended the unparalleled power of angels with the unpredictable nature of humans could not be ignored. They were revered by some, feared by others, and their existence raised profound questions about the balance between good and evil, the sacred and the profane. How would these giants deal with their own hybrid nature? Would they be the salvation or ruin of humanity? And above all, how would the gods react to this new race, born of a union that should never have happened? The rebellion of the Watchers, led by Samyaza, did not remain hidden from God's eyes. The harmony between heaven and earth was brutally broken, and creation was tinged with the corruption brought by the Nephilim, who came to dominate the world with their overwhelming power. But this transgression, this deviation from the divine plan, could not be ignored. God's wrath, implacable and just, fell upon Samyaza and his followers with overwhelming force. The Nephilim, who once walked among men like mighty giants, became symbols of an era tainted by disobedience and the desecration of divine laws. The world, which was no longer the same, was now shrouded in increasing chaos, with evil spreading like a shadow everywhere. God, in his infinite wisdom and justice, decided that the earth needed to be purified of the corruption that threatened his creation. And it was then that the decision was made: the world was to be cleansed by the great flood. Imagine the magnitude of this judgment, an action that not only aimed to punish the fallen angels, but also to restore the order that had been violated. The waters of the flood were not just a punishment, they symbolized the attempt to reverse the chaos and bring purity back to divine creation. The Nephilim, those hybrid creatures born of the forbidden union, were wiped off the face of the earth, while Samyaza and his companions faced their final fate. But what did this act of God mean? What remained after the waters receded? The fall of the angels was a warning, a reminder that divine power cannot be defied with impunity. The consequences were terrible, not just for the Watchers, but for all of humanity. What do we learn from this story? That higher forces are always watching, and that, in the end, divine justice will prevail over disobedience and corruption. This dark chapter in the history of the fallen angels and the Nephilim makes us reflect on the delicate balance between good and evil, and how a single act of rebellion can unleash unimaginable consequences. Looking back, we are led to question how these events have shaped the world we live in and what we can still learn from them. Samyaza's fall marked the beginning of his punishment, but what really happened to him after that fateful moment? Ancient traditions offer us different and intriguing visions of his fate. In some narratives, Samyaza was taken to a deep, dark abyss, an eternal prison where he would be condemned to wait until the day of the final judgment, a place where the darkness is so dense that even hope seems to be lost. Imagine him in chains, the weight of his disobedience becoming more and more unbearable as the millennia pass, a fallen angel who has exchanged the divine light for an eternity of darkness and torment. But what if this isn't the whole story? There are those who believe that Samyaza, with all his cunning and power, could have avoided this fate. There are legends that suggest that he still walks among us, not as an imprisoned being, but as a hidden force, invisible to our eyes, but influential in the course of humanity. Think of the wars, disasters and moments of great turmoil throughout history. What if, in some of these moments, Samyaza was there, whispering in the shadows, manipulating events, twisting the destinies of individuals and nations to satisfy his ancient desire for power? This duality about Samyaza's fate begs the question: is he really imprisoned, paying for his sins in an abyss of darkness, or is his influence still felt in the world in ways we can't fully understand? If he is still free, what does he seek now? Does he still hope for a chance to regain control, or is he content to operate in the shadows, a ghost from the past that has never truly been defeated? This uncertainty surrounding Samyaza's fate adds a deep layer of mystery and unease to his story. If he is imprisoned, his wrath must be immeasurable, accumulated by eons of confinement. But if he's free, we may never really know where he is, what he's planning, or how he could influence our lives today. And this doubt, this possibility that such a great and ancient power could still be among us, is something that leaves us intrigued and at the same time, a little fearful. And so we come to the end of our journey through Samyaza's enigmatic fate. The questions remain, reverberating in the shadows of our understanding. Is Samyaza really trapped in a dark abyss, suffering for his disobedience, or does his presence still influence the world, shaping events and destinies in invisible and unexpected ways? The mystery surrounding Samyaza's fate is an invitation to reflection. It makes us question whether the forces of good and evil are more intertwined than we would like to admit, and whether there are ancient secrets that still echo in our modern world. The idea that such an ancient and potent power could be operating in the shadows is both fascinating and unsettling. If you felt the weight of this mystery and the thrill of the possibilities we've explored, don't forget to subscribe to the channel and activate the notification bell so you don't miss any of our upcoming videos. Leave your likes and share your own theories and thoughts on Samyaza's fate in the comments below. We love to hear your opinions and questions. Keep watching the videos that appear on your screen for more intriguing and revealing content. Thank you for sticking with us until the end and for being part of this journey of discovery. See you in the next video, where we'll continue to explore the hidden secrets of our universe. And so we conclude our in-depth exploration of Samyaza's mysterious fate. Is he really trapped in an abyss of darkness, paying for his transgressions? Or does his influence still echo in our world, invisibly manipulating events and destinies? The question remains open, and that's exactly what makes this story so fascinating and disturbing. If you felt the intensity and curiosity that accompanies us when we unravel these ancient enigmas, be sure to subscribe to the channel and activate the notification bell. This will ensure that you don't miss any of our upcoming dives into mysteries and surprising revelations. Your like and comment are extremely important to us. Share your theories and thoughts on Samyaza below, and let's continue this intriguing conversation together. Don't stop here. Keep exploring the videos that appear on your screen right now and delve even deeper into the secrets and stories that shape our understanding of the universe. We thank you from the bottom of our hearts for watching to the end. Your presence and curiosity are what motivate us to bring you more and more fascinating content. Until the next video, where new discoveries and mysteries await us.